Hey guys, it's Scott from fxmissions.com. Just a note, I've finished the trilogy of Anthologies from the Forefront, and all 3 books are currently available on Amazon.
Take your leadership to the next level. It's time for the Foundational Missions Leadership Moment with Scott McClelland of FX Missions.
Hi, it's Scott McClelland. Thanks for joining us. Today on Leadership Moment, I'm going to talk a little bit in review, and hopefully in practical review for you guys on the subject of the snare series that we did. And there were 10 or 11 of those, I think, in that series. So if you haven't heard those, go back and check them out. As before mentioned, we're taking a break from our series and trying to give some practical input to you relative to all the subject matter that we covered. If we can do anything to serve you more or better, please let us know. You can contact us on most social media platforms at FX Missions or on our website at fxmissions.com. We spent like 10 weeks on the snare series, and that was a lot. May have been a few more than that. If you haven't gone through those, please do. Check them out. I think they'll be a blessing to you. Not that snares are good, but they are out there, and as the Scripture teaches us, in vain is a snare set in the sight of any bird. Part of us overcoming snares is just to understand that they're going to be there and have our eyes open. And the Lord will help us see those things in advance because He doesn't want us to fall victim to these snares that seem to capture so many of us and with frequency. So watch out there, and the Lord, He's going to help you see those things. One thing I remember as I was preparing for this, as something a friend of mine once said to me, he said, "Hey, if you find yourself in a hole, the first thing you need to do is put down the shovel." And some of us, I think, need to take that advice on board. Put down the shovel. You're in a snare and you're making it worse because you're resisting what the Lord's trying to teach you through the process. Many are the troubles of the righteous, but the Lord delivers them out of them all. And you could read snares there instead of trouble. So a lot of times things come our way to give us problems, to impede our progress, and to keep us from going forward. And the Lord delivers us out of them all. Our trust has to be in God, not in our own keen perception or ability to avoid troubles or snares. We've got to trust in the Lord. And in that way, we're actually, some of the things that are headed our way never make it to us. So thank God for that. Many things you will learn actually come from the mistakes you make. So the only way to get that really wrong is not to learn after the fact. So take the opportunity to learn, even if you've found that you've made a mistake and that you're in a place where you shouldn't be. Get something out of that by learning from the mistake instead of just, being surprised or, being frustrated or being put down or let down by your own self. One thing that we've got to do in this is also to keep pace with our station in life. If we're young, that's what the Lord expects of us, to be young. If we're no longer young, maybe He's got higher expectations or different expectations. So let's keep pace with our station. Let's make the most of the time we've been given as ambassadors for the kingdom. And let's commit in our hearts and in our minds and in our spirits that we're going to continue on regardless of the obstacles, regardless of the snares, regardless of the difficulties, and that we're going to hear, like Jesus has offered to each one of us, "Well done, good and faithful servant." That's got to be your goal. That's got to be your objective as you are going forward. If you find yourself in a snare, be prepared by committing in advance not to stay there. And if you've found that you've made a mistake, don't be surprised. Be repentant and then learn from what you have done wrong and then keep going. And the Lord will restore, redeem, and take you forward. I'm Scott McClelland with this Leadership Moment. Thanks for being a part of it. please contact me or us at fxmissions.com. Till next time, have a good one.
This leadership moment was produced in partnership with Engaging Missions. Have your leadership question answered by contacting scott@fxmissions.com. Visit FX Missions to learn more about how you can grow your leadership and engage in missions. Visit engagingmissions.com for encouragement, insight, and resources from missionaries, ministry leaders, and church planters.